Hello everyone, this is Nitya Priya. Even today we are going to see the types of operating system. Right, and these are the contents of our presentation. First we see batch processing operating systems, then we see time sharing OS, then we see the multiprocessing OS. We start with the operating system. The operating systems perform all the basic tasks like managing files, process, and memory. We know pretty well that the operating system acts as a resource manager and it also plays the role of an interface between the user of the computer and the hardware. That is how it gels the computer system, hardware, and the user of the hardware. So the operating system finally becomes an interface between the user and the machine. Right. This is the first type of OS, batch operating system. Actually, batch is a batch of tasks or a batch of jobs with similar requirement. So that is a batch. So if any number of if some number of jobs are coming in for the computer, what the operator inside the computer will do is it will batch the jobs with similar objects, with similar objectives, and those batches it will just load on the processor. That is how the batch system is being executed. So this type of operating system does not interact directly with a computer. There is an operator inside that takes similar jobs having same requirement and group them into batches. So it is the responsibility of the operator to sort the jobs with similar needs. Right. This is the scenario of batch OS. See the users, number of users submitting jobs to the operator first. That is, the users are not directly contacting with the computer here, right? So they first interact with the operator. They are interacting only with the operator, and only the operator that batches the jobs into those things, and those batches will be later submitted to the computer for execution, right? And these are the advantages of batch OS, right? So the processors of a batch system know how long the job would be in waiting and how long it will be in queue. So whereas for the other types like serial processing and those other types, it is very difficult for the processors to guess how long it will be on waiting. So that is the first advantage. And the second one is multiple users can share the batch systems. More than one jobs can be loaded on the single operating system. So that is one biggest advantage. The idle time for batch system is very less because the computer is always busy in executing jobs. The idle time is very less. And also it is easy to manage large works repeatedly in batch system. So these are the advantages of batch operating systems. And these are the disadvantages of batch system. Batch systems are hard to debug. Of course, if an error occurs, it is hard to detect where it is occurring actually. It is hard to position the error. And the next one is it is sometimes costly. And the resources needed are large, so it is costly. The other jobs will have to wait for unknown time if any jobs fail, right? So because debugging is tough, the time for execution will also be large, so the other jobs will not know how long it will be waiting in the queue, right? The examples of batch systems are payroll system, bank statements, etc., right? Now we see the second type of operating system, which is time sharing operating system. Actually, time sharing operating system is a particular job will be divided into tasks and the task will be given some time. So this time is known as a quantum, and this quantum, for this quantum the task will be remaining inside the or processor. If the quantum elapses, the task will be expelled from the processor and automatically the next process comes in. So that is called time sharing OS. So each task is given some time to execute so that all the tasks work smoothly. And each user gets the time of CPU as they are using a single system. So that is what is either. So this is also called as a multitasking system. So the time taken is also also called quantum. Right, so this is the scenario of time sharing OS. There are various processes running. On the left we see Word. We are running a Word document. We are exporting and importing something through mail, and we are also running a client. So all these things are working on a OS, and the OS in turn will interact with the processor. Right, and these are the advantages of time sharing OS. Each task gets an equal opportunity. So duplication of software, the chances of duplication is very less, and CPU idle time is very less. And these are the disadvantages of time sharing OS. Reliability is always an issue. In time sharing OS, the user has to ascertain that the upcoming jobs are secured and they are reliable. It is the user's duty to ascertain all those things. So reliability is an issue in time sharing OS. Then data communication is a problem, right? So the best example for time sharing OS is Unix. And this is the third type of operating system, which is multiprocessing OS. In multiprocessing OS, there are more than one CPUs connected. So many CPUs are there or can be there in multiprocessing OS, and every CPU, every processor can carry out one process. So that is multiprocessing OS. This multiprocessing OS, this multiprocessors allow the computer to perform calculations faster. So since the tasks are divided between processes, the task is manageable and the execution is made faster. Right. So here we have given two scenarios. On the top left, we see one main memory is shared by two processors, and each and every processor will be each and every processor is connected with IO processor and IO units and so on. So in the second scenario on the bottom right, we see three processors connected with one memory. So here with we want to say that we can have any number of processors in a multiprocessing scenario. That's it, right? So about multiprocessing OS, the scheduling and monitoring operations and calculations in order to complete user initiated task. When the task is initiated by user, then only the multiprocessing OS will work. Right, and these are the advantages. The major advantage, that is a distinction, is that the multiprocessing OS divide the work up to the various subtasks and then assign these subtasks to different CPUs. Because multiprocessing OS rely on parallel processing, each processor involved in a task must be able to inform the others about how its task is progressing, and that's the way it is. The multiple number of processors in a single system are connected, and they work together and they are integrated, and that is how delays and inefficiencies are minimized because they collaborate. And that's all about this. Thanks for watching.